You thought my seed shopping was done? Not even close. Let's share some more seed haul. Hi flower friends. Well, guess what? Seed buying has got me once again. Actually, I jest a little bit. If you followed my previous video of the seed haul of things that I'm planning on growing for my 2026 season, that was primarily my Johnny's order with a couple of other things I knew I was going to grow filtered in, but I did have some more things sitting in a cart for a couple of different seed companies that I had not pulled the trigger on yet. However, after sitting down and planning my growing space for next season, I did go ahead and purchase those and finalize my order, and I do believe, guys, this is it. So I'm not going to go through my other seeds. If you watch my previous video, you'll see my seed order primarily from Johnny's, and those are a lot of the kind of big flowers for 2026 that I'm trying, but there are some favorites I have and some new things I wanted to try, which I pulled the trigger on and we're going to look over today. And so I purchased from a lot of different varieties of seed companies, and a lot of this isn't due to not having loyalty to one or the other. A lot of it just comes down to maybe one is out of stock on one company and another one has it in stock or something similar to that. You do have to be a little bit mindful and careful, because outside of Johnny's, which is more of a commercialized producer, when you start moving out to other companies, they tend to be more swayed and more marketed towards your home grown type of growers. I'm not saying that their seeds and products don't work, they do. You just have to be a little bit mindful. Read the descriptions and specifications very carefully. I've learned the hard way this past season by buying things that I thought looked so beautiful and getting them and realizing that they were meant for containers or landscaping, which wouldn't work for cut flower production. And so that's what I mean. There is a little bit of a difference you have to be mindful of. But first off, one of the big companies that I do also enjoy using outside of Johnny's is Baker Creek Seed Company. And so this year I've got just a couple things, again, things I couldn't find elsewhere. I've had good success with, I would say, Baker Creek. So I picked up coxcomb celosia, and if you saw in one of my previous videos, you know I said I'm not going to do celosia. After I made that though, I did have a suggestion to grow the Indiana giant coxcomb celosia, and so I am going to try that this season. Now it's quite certain how I'm going to use it, and then I also, of course, I staved back some of my other pink pompous plume celosia, and so I also might throw some of those in to get started as well for this upcoming season. I did dedicate a very small part of my bed for those. Next up is Jewels of Opar, and I actually located this seed on Florette. Strangely enough, I was reading through some of her flowers that she liked to grow and some of the fillers that she liked to grow, and this came up, and it doesn't seem like a lot of people tend to grow this, but I liked it. It has like a nice little airy look about it. I think it would be excellent for dried flower season production, especially come winter time. It has like a little bit of a berry type of look to it in a way, so I think it's going to be a nice little addition. I have other kind of whimsical airy fillers out there already that I'm going to attempt this year. I have Firmament, if I can get it going, and hopefully it kind of can sustain in this heat. And then I also have Sweet Annie, and Sweet Annie will also provide that kind of light airiness to it. I have read some things about Sweet Annie though, so I'm kind of leery on it now that I've purchased it. I guess some folks can have a little bit of an allergic reaction to it, kind of like folks who deal with ragweed, hay fever, things of that sort tend to be a little bit more sensitive to it. So we're going to give it a try and see if it does have any kind of negative effect, and we'll go from there. And lastly, so I have a lot of Gomphrena or Globe Amaranth going out for this season. I've got a couple of varieties that are going out, including some that I've pulled back from my own gardening from the previous season. One of the mixes I had was Globosa, and while I did have a lot of beautiful purple blooms out of that, I only got maybe a couple of stems of white, and unfortunately I didn't save back any of my white. So that means that I need to purchase more, and so I did go ahead and purchase the Snow White Gomphrena or Globe Amaranth. Next up is another seed company I like to use called Botanical Interests. I mentioned them in my previous video. I've had great success with them. What's nice is if I do need more seeds, I can easily kind of run out to an independent hardware store or gardening center, and they will typically have these on stock, and I can get what I need to. I did that actually for a couple of my Binary Giant zinnia varieties last year when I was running low on seeds. I actually went to my local garden center and picked some more of those up. So what am I growing from Botanical Interests as well? So I am actually going to do, I have straw flower. I have a couple different varieties again that I've saved back. I have a lot of dried ones right there behind me that I can utilize for seeds. But one that I did not have at all this season, I actually tried to get it started. I ordered seeds on clearance. I can't even tell you who it was from. It may have been Johnny's, and the germination rate was awful on those. And I guess you get what you pay for, right, on the clearance section. But anyways, I couldn't get any of them to germinate. They were just pitiful. They never really got off the ground. There's something obviously wrong with those seeds. And so anyways, I just planted what I could get to go and said, oh, well, next season, let's just pick up some white. And so I did pick up the king size silvery white in straw flower. One that I did purchase, and unfortunately, I don't know if I'm going to get this to work. I'm going to try my hardest. I picked up Shasta Daisy, and I don't know if these are going to survive out here in the heat. I'm going to try to give it my best. I hope I can get some of these actually to stay over and perennialize, but unfortunately, I think the heat might get them. I will try to shade these out, but we shall see. If you notice, I've picked up a lot of white varieties this year, and what is actually ironic is that, so any of you out there who do follow trends, whether it's maybe home decor, whether it is fashion, know that the Pantone color of the year was announced as Cloud Dancer, which is a shade of white. I put these seed orders in actually way before that, anticipating that I was going to need white flowers. In fact, if you look, I actually ordered some white Binary Giant zinnias that I previously didn't have the season before at all. So something mentally in me was triggering to purchase more white for my garden, and I did. And strangely enough, after that, after my seed orders were placed, that's when Pantone came out to say that Cloud Dancer was the color of the year. So I guess I'm on trend. Subconsciously something was telling me, but anyways, I thought that was kind of funny. Alright, so to continue on with my Botanical Interest order, there was a variety of zinnia that I did try to save a few of my seeds back, but I'm not confident in the germination rate on them. And so what I did is I went ahead and purchased some more of the Senora zinnias. And I thought these were called Senorita when I purchased them from Baker Creek, but either it's a variety difference or maybe I'm wrong, but anyways, the Senora variety is a nice full pink variety. It's kind of like a mix in between, I would say, a cactus petal versus a true zinnia petal. And so I really did love these. I love the look of them when I had them. I loved using them in bouquets, and so I definitely knew I wanted to grab some more of these for this season. So I didn't necessarily purchase these in this seed haul. I've actually had this next variety and grouping from last season. I actually intended to use these out on our raw land. Those plans have changed, and so I have these seeds, and I'm going to try to give them a go here on this property to see if I can get any of them to kind of viably work. The first big one that I actually have already planted out for winter planting in hopes that maybe I get something is Globe Gilia. And I forgot to mention, these are from Everwild Farms, which they have very nice packets. It is a Mylar packet that is resealable. Very nice, actually. So yeah, hopefully I can get some good results out of these guys. Next up is Rocky Mountain Penstemon. And so I've never grown Penstemon. I know that it does perennialize, which is why I purchased it, but I am going to give it a shot here. Whether it makes it or not, I'm not entirely certain for this environment, but we shall see. And then something I did purchase for the land, not certain where quite I'm going to put this one yet, or even if I will get to it this season, but I did purchase some prairie sage. A lot of cut flower growers tend to lean towards foliage for Dusty Miller, for if they want kind of like that nice white frosted type of look of filler foliage. And so that's why I kind of lean towards prairie sage, is because I wanted to see if there would be a great alternative that grows really well out here that I could use and cut. Whether or not that is going to actually make it in a vase life test, I'm not entirely certain. So again, that one is going to be a little bit more of experimentation. So guys, I think that's going to be it for my seed haul. I think I've covered everything, at least in that previous video and in this video, for what my plans are for this growing season. If I didn't, then I guess it'll just be a great surprise later on when I talk about it. But anyways, there is something that I did want to talk about. You know that I enjoy sharing my successes, and so I've had a couple more farmers markets. Again, not sellouts, but I'm not expecting that since it's just been dried flower season. A lot of people really want fresh bouquets when dealing with farmers markets and things, but I have had a lot of success in selling my wreaths and selling my dried floral bouquets and things. So thank you so much to those who are watching this. I really appreciate it. What you have done for me is that you have actually allowed me, again, I love sharing, my successes and things, showing you ways that you help me continue to grow my farm. And so anyways, one of the things that I was in dire need of was some humidity domes for those new Bootstrap Farmer planting cell trays that I purchased, which I did finally get those. So here they are, and they're exactly the quality I was looking for. These are super tough. I don't know if any of you have ever seen the videos out there where the girl explains how to plant these on their YouTube, and she's literally just like throwing it around the farm and running over it, I think, with a tractor and everything else. These are really good, high quality. These are going to last me quite a long time, which makes me very, very happy. So these fit into my trays, which I've, again, you guys helped me purchase. And then I have my humidity domes, which are going to be crucial for these that just sit on top of these trays like that. And so that will help keep the moisture in for my seedlings. So anyways, that was something I completely had forgotten to pick up, and so I was able to order those for the amount of these size trays that I have. As you can see, I'm still making use of those tinier trays that I have and the ones that are still of decent quality. Again, I have varieties where I'm not going to need huge amounts, at least not 70 some worth of seedlings that I need to transplant out. And so that's where those smaller ones do definitely come in handy. And then those larger ones are going to be used for things like my snapdragons, for those lysianthus that I'm starting up this season, for my zinnias, things where I have huge, large quantities that have to go out. And so that's exciting to think about. And so yeah, so I know the Christmas season, as I film this, we are wrapping up, and I know I'm going to start going into a lull season. I'm already kind of mentally preparing for it, where I don't anticipate a lot of sales and a lot of drive until I start getting those fresh flowers in. And so it's the time to start thinking again and preparing, trying not to beat myself up too much about maybe slow in sales and things like that, but just kind of facing that reality. And maybe I'll be wrong. Maybe people will be gung-ho to come out and start buying some of the more spring dried flower variety things that I do have in stock. And then obviously the next push, we do have Valentine's Day, which I do have some cute ideas coming up for dried flowers for that. And then after that, we have the big push for Mother's Day. Whether I'll have anything available, I'm not quite certain, since I didn't have my winter planting this season. I do have things started. I do have things going. I actually threw out some of my leftover Nigella seeds, some of my leftover larkspur seeds, and fingers crossed, maybe I can get something out of those in my front beds. I have my Monarda lambada already started for bee balm, so maybe I can have some just nice spring flowers, as well as maybe snapdragons if I can get them going early enough. I'm actually starting them out a month ahead of time in order to kind of get them going, get them out there, and then fingers crossed, guys, maybe we can have something out there for Mother's Day at least. That is my preparation for this next 2026 season. I know everything is going to be flying like crazy, but yeah, I don't want to ramble on too long, but I just wanted to stop and say thank you. I appreciate you for everything that you helped me with, either financially or just with support on this channel. So thank you again for watching. Take care. We'll see you next time.